Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thapiyal, and the health insurance space in India seems to have hit the refresh button. A lot of insurance companies such as Bajaj Allianz General Insurance, Niva Bupa, ManipalCigna and GoDigit have in the last few months announced products with newer benefits. Now, what are these new features and how will it benefit insurance buyers? Let's answer all of these questions with Sarbvir Singh, Joint Group CEO, PolicyBazaar.com, Krishnan Ramachandran, MD CEO, Niva Bupa Health Insurance. Good evening and welcome both of you. And let me just start with Mr. Krishnan, because since we are talking about the kind of new revamped features now health insurance companies have added on to their health insurance, what has been your game plan?
Thank you very much. Very excited to be on your show. We have actually just launched a very exciting product called Reassure 2.0, which has two objectives. One is to bring in more and more young Indians into the fold of insurance. And second is to make sure that affordability is always kept in mind. And two very interesting and innovative features that we've launched with this product are, the first one we call Lock the Clock. What this means is, especially for somebody who's young, imagine somebody who's 25 years old, turns 55, that person will continue to pay the premium of a 25-year-old as long as there's no claim to pay the premium of a 25-year-old. Now, this does not mean that premiums do not change, but the premium or the age band for which premiums get paid would get locked. So this is a very innovative and interesting feature that this product has. Second is we've introduced a feature called Booster Plus. And what this feature does is to allow you to carry forward your unutilized sum insured for as many as 10 times. So imagine somebody who's brought into a 10 lakh cover. At the end of 10 years, that person would have 1 crore plus 10 lakhs as a sum insured. So the whole idea is you never run out of sum insured, and your product always keeps pace with inflation as we move along. So very excited with this product. It's got very good reception in the marketplace.
So that was a lot of information, but then let's also talk about the other features where, Sarbvir, we are seeing the kind of revamp which health insurance companies are trying to do. You know, it includes locking premium, high no-claim bonuses, coverage, elaborate coverage, in fact, for senior citizens, even, treatment for critical illnesses like cancer abroad. So all of this is now being introduced. What exactly do you think could be the reason behind these kind of revamped features? Is this the demand or maybe the innovation part where health insurance company seems to be focusing?
So, Kavita, I think there are a couple of points. One is that despite, I think what we believe is that the health insurance product in India is actually a very good product, even today, right? The kind of coverages that are offered, I think Krishnan just explained some of them. So I think the product is very good. Despite that, as we know, the penetration of retail health insurance in India is still very low. So I think all companies are trying to find ways around the objections that people might have and to give them greater and greater attractiveness of buying health insurance. So one of the points that a lot of consumers have is that if I don't make a claim, then what happens to the sum insured that I have? So I think now many products allow you to carry that forward, and it can add up to 7 to 10 times where you started from. There are products which are giving you a no claim bonus. Even if you have to make a claim, they still restore a large portion of the sum insured for you. There are products, like you said, which are offering global coverage. So, there is a demand where sometimes you may need to go abroad for a certain, a specific critical illness or something. So those products are being offered. And I think equally exciting, one product which has now come out for senior citizens. And senior citizens have typically one major problem, that they don't want to, the waiting periods they don't want to serve, because they feel that the reason they're buying health insurance is that they may need it anytime. So, typically what used to be a 4-year waiting period now has been reduced. So I think slowly but surely, I think the health insurance companies are coming out with very innovative products which are addressing each of the reasons why a consumer may not buy health insurance.
Specific, Mr. Krishnan, that's been done on the critical illnesses part, because there is a lot of scope, if health insurance companies, maybe they already are focusing on it, but what kind of innovation and add-ons are being made specifically for critical illnesses?
I'd say broadly the critical illness products serve a very important need, which is income supplement. So broadly, health insurance products are of two kinds. One is indemnification and the other is income supplement. So imagine somebody who's been hospitalized, needs to cover the hospitalization expense. That's where indemnity products come in. On top of that, that person may lose income because critical illnesses have long duration and could be debilitating in nature. So in terms of critical illness, I think today in the market, there are very, very comprehensive products covering a range of critical illnesses. But importantly, as Sarbvir mentioned, there are also, some Indians may feel that they want to get certain critical illnesses treated abroad. So there are products today, including what we have to offer, where you can get critical illnesses treated in the best of healthcare facilities anywhere in the world, and not just in our country.
Also, specifically, Sarbvir, you just mentioned about waiting periods. Diabetes over here, which was like a point of elimination for a lot of people when they were buying health insurance for themselves. It's no longer the case. What has been the shift over here?
So I think what we call for the ABC, ABCD illnesses, what people have done is that they are now offering, depending on the sort of stage or depending on how serious the disease is, they are actually offering what they call day one cover. So which basically means that right after you buy the policy, certain kind of coverage kicks in, and then maybe after 30 days, more coverage kicks in. Now, this is against, as I explained to you, having a waiting period of 3 years or 4 years. So obviously, some of these products will be a little more expensive as compared to a basic product, which has a longer waiting period. But it offers the person a choice where if you are concerned about the fact, because in these cases, you already have something, right? You know that you are suffering from one of these diseases, you are able to still get coverage as soon as you need it. So I think this is a very, very interesting and, in my opinion, very innovative solution that the insurance companies have created, where people with illnesses are actually being, allowed to be covered as soon as the first day. So this includes diabetes as well.
In terms of places from where we are seeing these kind of interest coming in, you're an online portal. Can you give us some data as to which parts of the countries now are participating more into getting themselves insured when it comes to health insurance policy? Has there been a change in the entire narrative? Because we don't have to forget that a lot of people in India buy insurance policies, be it life or health, for tax benefit, which seems to be changed now because of the new tax regime. There won't be any benefit on these insurance policies. What is the change in narrative in terms of understanding when it comes to buying health insurance?
I think we definitely see that consumers have moved on from the tax narrative, especially for protection policies. So for health insurance and term insurance, I think the tax narrative is maybe a useful secondary thing, but primary, people understand that they need to protect themselves. In health insurance, one of the things that we have seen is that, let's say 5 years ago, almost 60 or 2/3 of our sales were coming from bigger cities, so what we would call tier 1 cities. Today, that situation has completely reversed. So today, about 2/3 of our sales, or 60% of our sales, are coming from the smaller cities, and the remaining is coming from the bigger cities. And I think that has happened for a couple of reasons. One is COVID, because I think people understood the need for health insurance when COVID happened. And the second thing is a much greater awareness that, health sort of liabilities can come up. And, people even living in smaller cities now understand the value of health insurance. And thirdly, actually, I'll just add one more point, that the insurance companies have done a great job of increasing the number of cashless hospitals, where this insurance can be used. And that gives confidence to the customer. When you see the names of hospitals around you, that gives you confidence. And I think these three things put together have led to this change in buying behavior.
Cost effective are these new add-on features and new type of insurance policies we are talking about, Mr. Krishnan? Have the premiums gone up? Is there a problem over there that policyholders might face?
I just want to make one more point to what Sarbvir said on diabetics, which is the fact that more and more now insurance companies have graduated beyond providing just financial protection, but also taking care of the underlying health condition. So today, for example, many of the product targeted at diabetics not just cover hospitalization, but they also help manage the condition. So whether it's diabetes, asthma, or hypertension, all of these require lifestyle modification. And many companies, including ours, actually get into lifestyle management, health promotion, health management. So I just wanted to say that in our search to be consumer centric, that's one important journey that many of us have embarked on. As far as your question, Kavita, on affordability is concerned, yes, we do need to keep pace with medical inflation. Medical inflation in the last 2 years has moved well ahead of general inflation. But I do believe moving ahead, medical inflation will revert to historical norms of maybe 5, 6, 7%, and that should be the premium increase that consumers can look forward to. But yes, in the last 2 years, that number has been well in excess of 10%, and that's just keeping pace with what happened, especially on account of COVID.
Focused on senior citizen plans, and Sarbvir, over here, maybe you can help us understand how the entire narrative and in terms of coverage, we've seen a lot of change when it comes to senior citizens and their pre-existing illnesses, especially.
So, as I was mentioning earlier, senior citizens now have a wide choice of plans. On one end are, I would call, the premium plans, which provide day one coverage for many named diseases. They provide a concierge service. I think Krishnan made a great point that insurance companies have now moved beyond just hospitalization and treating people when they are in a hospital, but they also provide preventive care, right? So they provide disease management programs, they provide consultation, OPD consultation with doctors, they provide nutrition support, they provide even exercise support. So I think what is happening is that for senior citizens, on one hand, you have these very premium plans with first day coverage, very good support services, so that if you ever need to go to hospital, disease management. And then on the other hand, we have the more traditional plans, which have a copay, which have a higher waiting period, but then they are much more affordable. So I think senior citizens now have this choice, a range of options from which they can choose, ranging from very easily usable plans to maybe more economical plans which provide coverage.
Krishnan, anything on the same lines that Niva Bupa is offering?
Yes, we do. Philosophically, what we'd like to do is to not just offer financial protection, but being from a healthcare group, we would like to offer a range of services which are adjacent to all the products that we do. So a lot of what Sarbvir mentioned around adjacent services, whether it's around health promotion, whether it's around access to high quality second opinions, whether it's around managing chronic conditions, all of that we do. And we offer these as riders to our core products. So more and more, I think the industry is moving towards holistic solutions, not just hospitalization expense management.
Point, Mr. Krishnan, that you highlighted, and Sarbvir, maybe you want to elaborate on this, the importance of riders. Why not having a comprehensive policy is particularly fine. You just have a base insurance, health insurance policy with you, and then later on for further coverage, you can add a lot of top-ups and riders. How can one design their own health insurance policy with all the important type of riders?
So here, what I would suggest, Kavita, that customers need to keep it a bit simple, because otherwise, it's easy to get lost in the jargon and in the whole thing. I think the main thing is to first have a sensible base plan, which provides you appropriate level of coverage for the amount of money that you're comfortable with. And then I think depending on your situation, right, as I think Krishnan was also explaining, that depending on your situation, then you can add certain additional benefits. These could be in the form of reduced waiting period. These could be in the form of some of these disease management programs, in the form of OPD consultations or others. So, but I would again reiterate that the first thing that a customer should do is to get a good base policy, and then on top of it, depending on their situation, add riders. Of course, I would always suggest that you should consult an insurance expert, a person who can advise you very well on these things.
Mr. Krishnan, now these are the aspects and innovation and new offerings from the health insurance company's side. What about the offerings, if at all you have a good fitness regime, if you are in your perfect good health and best of your health, what kind of add-on benefits can you get on your existing health insurance policy? Anything that you are offering?
So Kavita, what we have started to do is to more and more encourage healthy behaviors. And our method of encouragement is to essentially pass on, good health behavior as premium discounts. So for example, across the range of our products, and we have kept it very simple to what Sarbvir said, if you have an Android phone or an Apple iPhone, all you need to do is to sync the steps that you take, the daily steps that you take with our app, the Niva Bupa app. And depending on the number of daily average steps that you take, you could be eligible for a discount that goes up to as high as 30%. So something very simple, walking every day is encouraged, as they say these days, sitting is the new smoking. So our method of encouraging policyholders to stay healthy, and we really call this the Live Healthy benefit in our product, is to simply walk every day. And if you walked on average, let's say 10,000 steps a day, which is what WHO recommends.
We've missed your audio over there, but then I want to really wind up this discussion. But before I do that, Sarbvir, last question to you. Now, these are the new add-ons and new type of health insurance policies. Now, what would you recommend? What would you suggest the existing policy holders to do? Just give up on the old ones, or just get an update on the existing insurance policy so that they have the benefit of these features?
I would suggest that they should first look at their existing policy. What we have found, Kavita, is that many times consumers don't know the full benefits that they have in their own policies. Policies are quite powerful, and I think one should understand the policy better. Secondly, I think what you'll find is that many policies, even though they may be the same for the last few years, have added benefits as they went along. So I think it's important to understand those. Number three, I would suggest, after having done the first two steps, if there is anything that is lacking in your policy and that's something that you would like, then I think you can either go in for a rider. I think many companies offer riders which can be attached to existing policies. And of course, if it turns out that after all this, that policy is not suitable, then of course they should consider looking at some of these new age products and porting to them.
A host of products with new and enhanced features launched by health insurance policies, and definitely is the right time to get all kind of benefits that you can on your health insurance policies. Thank you so much for being on the show today, both of you. On that note, let's take a quick break, and after that we'll be joined by Sandeep Tandon of Quant Mutual Fund, and we will talk about their NFO, which is on Dynamic Asset Allocation Fund, after this break.